Hello. So I had some requests to provide a bit of detail on the development process of this game. So I thought I'd do a video of me trying to make a little optimization I've been thinking about lately. First, a bit of background. So the game's written on a Mac, cross-developed, written in C. Emacs is the editor. There's a version of GCC that I hacked to output VASM assembler syntax so that I can use VASM and VLink, which makes it easier because I do a bit of assembler code and means I can take the output of GCC and then hack on that assembler rather than writing it all from scratch. And FSUAE is the emulator and use its built-in debugger. So let's build the game. Let's do a clean build. Make files. You can see that there's a full rebuild that rebuilds everything, including converting all the assets, and everything takes about, I don't know, 10 seconds or something. And we can run the emulator. So I was reading a thread on EAB about someone that was optimizing a demo effect. Yeah, those guys, well, they know their stuff far more than I do. But a bit inspiring, so I thought that I would have a look at that. One of the things they were using was the visual DMA debugger inside UOE to try and optimize the DMA usage. Now my DMA usage is not optimized. I haven't even thought about it. So, and I don't even know what the visual DMA debugger was. So I thought let's try and learn a bit about that. So let's activate the debugger. UAE debugger activated, and we can enable the visual DMA debugger with -1 to -4, and I think this is just the screen size, so let's go -3 and continue, and let's have a look. So here we are. I am guessing that so each color obviously is a different subsystem accessing the memory via DMA. Blue would be the bitplane DMA, almost certainly. Now there's not much happening on this screen. There's no bleeding going on. There are some copper changes somewhere, but I'm guessing this red is music or audio. Let's go into a level and see what it looks like. Yep, so here we go. So now we've got a couple more colors. We've got pink, which will be the hardware sprite almost certainly. So the hardware sprite is 4 attached sprites to get, 16 colors. And everything else is done using the blitter, which is what all this green will be. Now you can see that it does have this grey, which I'm guessing is CPU interleaved, but the problem is that will be probably busy waiting, a lot of it at least, rather than something useful. So I fire off the blitter, maybe do something, but normally I come straight back to do the next split, and the first thing you have to do is busy wait for the previous split to finish. So the idea that I want to test today is, can we jam some useful processing in there rather than just busy waiting for the blitter? So that's what we want to test. Another thing we can do is we can, here we've got a flag that enables a mode in the engine that will visually show when we're waiting for the blitter, when we're busy waiting. So we'll fire that one up and load up a level. And turn on the borders so we can see it. So here we go. So green means busy waiting for the blitter. So yep, there is some. We just really want to pick one today. So now we render from the bottom up. So clouds, tiles, and the last thing apart from the player sprite, which doesn't use the blitter, is the enemy. So this one of these this is probably the enemies. So let's look at enemies today. Let's let's have a look. Well, actually, first of all, let's get rid of this. We don't want that anymore. Let's load up the enemy file. Enemy render. So this is the render routine. Link list of active enemies, loops through, renders each one. Inside here is some blitz, and before each blitz there's a wait. So the idea will be that we want to put something interleaved with this rendering, so that after it's fired off blit, it goes away and does something. Question is what? Update's probably the best candidate now. What we want to do is have something that can be done per enemy, which is exactly what this thing does. So let's have a look at that. So this basically updates the parameters of every enemy each frame. Updates the screen position and the velocity, and does some collision detection with tiles and platforms, and updates animation frames and player collisions. So yep, that's quite a bit of stuff. Probably not enough stuff for the size of that blit, but maybe a measurable difference. Let's see. So the idea will be that we will take this out of here and we'll move it back up after the render. But before we do that, what we really need to do first is get a baseline speed comparison. So let's fire off the emulator again. One of the features of the game engine is that it has a recording and replay function, so you can record a game and then play it back. You can dump the recording out using the emulator debugger or action replay or something, and then I can put it back in the executable. So we'll fire it off in warp mode, so it's nice and quick. So it's playing away, tries to exercise the game, does all the different things you can do, jumping, scrolling, killing enemies, picking up coins and smashing blocks and all that sort of stuff. In the meantime, in the background, it's collecting statistics about how fast it's all going, counting the scan lines, and then displaying them. So statistics down the bottom here, that's the number of scan lines in total it took to render that replay, number of frames the replay took. This is the number of vertical blank interrupts, so because they're the same, it means we didn't drop any frames. If a frame took longer than one interrupt to render, then these would get out of sync, and this number here would increment, which is the skipped frames. Let's remember this number, 803.138. Echo 803.138. I'll just save that away. 803.138, was that it? Yep. Save that away, and there is another thing we can do, which is go to another debug output mode. Now this one here shows the number. This is the number of scan lines on average it took to do the most recent 8 frames, so that's a bit more of a live update, and this number is, I think, the maximum number of scan lines it's taken to render a frame, and these are counts of enemies and items, I think. So 2 items and 3 enemies. But what do we got here? 175. So about 175. 175 scan lines, so we'll append that number to our results. So now we want to make the change. Let's find that enemy, update enemy. So we want to remove it from here. And we want to move it up to the renderer. Now, that other stuff down there that we saw, that's to do with removing sprites. Removing the enemies from the linked list when they're dead. Now, I want to leave that there. I don't really want to mess with those too much, because that might affect the saving and restoring of the background behind the enemy. If we moved it, so let's just leave that there for now, and we'll move this back under the render. After we've fired off the blit, we'll have some time to do some CPU work, so maybe that'll be faster. We'll find out. Rebuild. And fire off the game again. So straight into the replay in warp mode. Seems to be working. Enemies look like they're all doing the right thing. We probably should have done a bit of a check first, but we'll do it after we've collected this result. There we go. So there's our new numbers, 974565, 974974, 794, 794565, 65. And we can get the real-time scanline number, which is what? Looks to be about 173. So that you can see straight off that it's about 2 scan lines faster, which is good. Let's just make sure it actually works. Collision detection seems to be working. The enemies are rendering and updating correctly. They seem to be getting added, new ones get added at the right time, so I think it does work. It's possible that it's 1 frame off because of where we moved it to. We moved the update to after the render, so I've paused it. I can single step through. That red background shows that we're skipping frames, and that's because we're paused. Let's see if we collide. Yeah, so maybe that collision is a bit fuzzy, like it's not exactly on the sprite. It's a little bit of leeway there, so I mean that might be a frame out. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'll look into that later, but yep, okay, so that seems to work, so that's good. Yeah, maybe we can have a look at those results now. So it is faster, not by much, a little bit. Let's have a look. If we take that number, times it by 1,000 maybe, and divide by the original, that'll give us, so 98.9% of the speed of the frame, so what's that, 1.1% faster? So yeah, that's something. That's the win. It's not much, but it's only one small change. Hopefully it's faster for the reason that I think it's faster, but you never know with this stuff. It could be something completely unrelated. But I think that gives me some good evidence to look at maybe, yeah, spending a bit more time thinking about DMA usage. I'm sure there's heaps of other places in the game I can try and apply that same pattern. And make it faster, which the faster it is, the more features we can add, so hooray. Alright, well, if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments down below, and yeah, see you next time.